let me know when you want me to admit the rest of the people in the waiting room.
You can start admitting them.
Well, look, there's a bunch of people.
Well, at least you're honest.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Isabel Jr.
I gotta change it to Abby Jr., not Abby Brownie.
See, it's people that probably do the same.
Just drink all that water.
We'll give it another minute or two and then we'll get started.
No, I need to help you.
Hi everyone, if you're not muted, can you please mute so that we can hear the speakers? Thank you. We'll start in a minute.
You want to give it another minute or shall we get started?
We can just give it one more minute.
People are still coming in.
Recording in progress.
You want to use my headphone?
Go ahead and get started.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our very first session of Girls Go STEM. I'm Olivia Howard, and I'm the Teen Services Librarian at Mission Viejo Library. This inspirational speaker series provides opportunities for children, teens, and their families to learn from women STEM leaders from around the country in medical, engineering, information technology, and space science fields. I'd like to first begin by introducing you to Anya Promanik, a member of the library's Teen Advisory Board. She developed this program, and she'll tell you a little bit more about it and introduce today's guest speaker. Anya?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much to Olivia and Mission Viejo Library for giving me an opportunity to host the Girls Go STEM series. I hope you're all doing well today. My name is Anya Promanik, and I'm an ambassador with Girl Scouts of Orange County. As part of my Gold Award project, Girls Go STEM, I'm excited to welcome you all to my STEM speaker series. My project is aimed to expose young girls to STEM and connect them to real-world leaders. So, we are about to hear from an incredibly accomplished and inspiring Miss Anuradha Chattaraj. She is an executive in data management services at Verisk, a multinational data analytics and AI company. She has profound insights as a female STEM leader in the field of informational technology. Here's a quick reminder of the format. We will have a presentation followed by a Q&A session. Please feel free to submit your questions in the chat, and Anuradha will address them during the Q&A session. There will be a very short survey posted in the chat section at the end of the presentation. Please fill it out. We will have a raffle drawing, and one lucky winner will be notified through the email ID provided. So without further ado, let's give a warm virtual welcome to Ms. Chattaraj. We are thrilled to have you with us today, and we look forward to your enlightening presentation. The stage is all yours.
Hi, Anya and Olivia from Mission Viejo Library. Thank you for arranging this. And I'm so proud to see so many girls who want to accomplish their career into the STEAM and interested to enter this field. This is really an honor for listening and from so many young youth. And Anya, also thank you to you. So I am, like Anya say, Anya, do you want me to introduce myself, or you want to go for the format, or where you have specific question for me? How do you want to go?
You can introduce yourself.
Okay, so I am Anu Chattaraj. I'm located in New Jersey. I am an executive, like Mania say, in a company called Verisk Analytics, which is an insurance analytics and data collection agency. I would go in detail that what I do, but before that, I wanted to let you know that when I was a young girl, I also wanted to be an engineer. So I had a dream from my 9th grade to go to an institute and do engineering. And I was born and brought up in India. So we have an institute there called Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. So I did my engineering there. And then I entered at the age of 22 or 23, I entered the field of IT. That time, the 2000, the Y2K was coming. I entered the organization, did a lot of work for the bank, who was trying to change their technology for welcoming the year 2000. And that's how I enter. And from my long career, I have been always into engineering, technical skill, which is coding. And then now I'm doing a lot of data analysis, which are data science. This is the upcoming field for data science and AI. But for making them enabled, you need to collect the data so that your product would work. So that's what I do in my company right now. And I'm also mother of two. I have a daughter of 21-year-old who studies at Emory University. She wants to be a doctor, so she's preparing for MCAT exam, and she wants to be a doctor, maybe go to next year for med school. And my son, he is 18-year-old. He studies at University of Miami. He is also studying for health policy and administration. At some point, he wanted to change the health policy of this country and enter the field of hospital management for successful serving the hospital or the public health industry. So that's what I am about. So you want any question for me? Otherwise, Anya, I would give some real time stories that how I entered into this field and why did I enter? Will that be okay, or do you want to go into some like anybody have any question? Otherwise, I would like to go and give some real time example that how I entered this field and what was the requirement.
We'll keep the Q&A at the end so you can just continue on.
Okay, sure. So I can give you some personal experience from my life, how some of the women who work with me have been, mentored and was interested. There is a company called Grace Hopper. Now, if some of you know, Grace Hopper was a great lady who actually, there is a programming called C language and Unix, which is actually the operating system. So Grace Hopper was a lady who invented the C programming and the computer, actually the how this in the computer there is a hardware and software, and she was one of the inventor of that. So there's a company called Grace Offer Celebration who actually celebrate the women who wants to come to the IT industry, not only women, non-binary as well. So every year I do mentorship of Grace Hopper. There are few tracks. So if somebody wants to go to the data engineering, like there are few areas in IT industry where somebody can work. One is called data engineering. So if you know, like you collect data, right? So for example, say if let's go for a university, right? So there are applications like you guys do apply for the university for your study, right? And then they would profile you, like, based on your score or based on your grade, how thing goes. But for running those profiles, they need to collect the data in a certain way, and they need to then profile your data. So that's like comes for the data engineering part, where the data comes in and they would have to categorize the data into few areas. So that's something we call data engineering part. There is also data architecture part. In the data architecture part, usually for storing the data into certain format, you need to architect, like for example, on your home, like you have a home and then you make a kitchen and you make a living room, like you architect your house, right? Similarly, data can be architect in different categories, like, right, there are some areas where you want to store data, like, my name and my SAT score, my GPA, which school I am from, which state I am from. So that's something we would call structured data. There could be another data set, which could be your social profile, right? Like you go to Instagram, you go to, the Facebook. So that could be some area where they might connect you to with your profiling or how you interact onto the social profile. So there are different areas like where data is collected. So that we call data architecture when you want to store different data. There is AI, like, AI is like something like it's whatever you can do, like that is can be programmed and stored. Like say, if you are going and looking into something and you want to make a sense, like say, I don't know if you guys work on Excel, right? If you open up an Excel and you're trying to do a summation of sale, right? Like say there are like 7 rows and you want to add them up. So sometime you open up an Excel and you go and do a sum and then you do create that summation, right? But if you write a program when an Excel open up and the program or something can do it, which I would do as a human being, right? So that something can be done, which they call artificial intelligence. So all the companies currently trying to go and do all this work so that like whatever you need to do manually can be reduced. And it's not reduced because there is not human being, because then human being can do more important work and they can do something different, which they don't need to do manually. Like you may not want to, you may not like doing something which you have to do every day, right? So that can be automated. So these are different areas, but mostly I have a group in India. I also have group in Poland, and we do corporate. Our company does collaboration also here. For example, I sometimes go to Barnard's College, which is in New York City, and it's a women-only college. So we go and we try to talk to the ladies who are wanted to be in the industry. They're studying math major, and we ask them that what do you want to do, and then our company have few use cases where they would collaborate with the universities and try to take them into the real-time project for doing something so that they get an experience working into the insurance industry. So that's something my company does working. And as a woman, like, or if you are, or any of you are interested to be on part of this university collaboration when you go in school, college, or even for your schools, there are companies who give some we call VIA, Verisk Innovation Accelerator. So in this innovation accelerator, we call a seed ideas. So seed ideas is like, say, if you have an idea, right? Like, say you want to do something, right? So they would collaborate, and if there are data available, like, say, I'm just giving an example, like you have an idea that I want to collect all the accidents, like car accident, which happening in California, state of California, and I want to see that what are the ages of the people who mostly make an accident, or where areas of the California is most dangerous areas where more accidents happens. You would like to warn people that this route is a accident prone route, right? So then you would collect some data which would be all the how many cars has gone today on this route, and then how many had traffic tickets. But you need to get some data, right? For example, you need to collect data which in New Jersey we call crash reports, right? You need to have the crash reports. Or so those are the ideas somebody can have, and then you would meet up with a mentor who can tell you that for doing this research you need this data set, and where you can avail those data sets, right? After that, you would write a small program. We there is program called Python programming, which can be like, very for writing Python programming, you could just write the program and you can establish whatever you want to do with this programming. So that's the areas like where somebody who have an idea meet up with a mentor, and the mentor who is somebody who has done similar work in other industries, so they would say that how you can achieve those use cases. So that's something my company does. So yeah, so those are like, areas where we work. So that's something. I don't have exactly anything to present you, but if you are interested to know for something like, how we have done one data set, then I could look for something. But at this time, this is what we actually do in these areas. Do you want to let me see some use cases? Maybe I can show you something. Okay, let me share some use cases. I have worked in a company called PricewaterhouseCoopers. When I was working there, I have something, so I will try to share. I think I can share from here, right? Olivia, do I have to go somewhere to share some videos, or I could share from?
I just made you co-host, so you should be able to share. Is share screen available at the bottom?
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, I do have the share screen available. Let me share something. Windows. Yeah, okay. So this is some AI use cases, right? In these AI use cases, we would show you some automation, which called digitalization, right? So, so what happened? Before doing this digitalization, you need to first do, so these are the areas basically for digitalization. Like there are some, like I know it might be little bit technical for your for you all, but I will try to do best. There are some areas we call robotics process automation. In the robotic process automation, what happens is that you have some data sets, and you would think that if there is somebody, it's like a robot is sitting, and like whatever you need to do, like for example, like there are some things like like I would try to give a lifetime example, like say for your home, right? Maybe there is something you every day do, right? You maybe you there is a floor, like if in the floor, if the water is falling out, you would like some robot to go and wipe that floor, right? So in the data set also, there could be some data where you can process or you can create the model such a way that when those kind of things happen, you would like to do some work. So that's we call robotic process automation. This lot of the time it happen into our industry, like when there is something, or like say for a claim, right? Like for insurance industry, if the car accident happened, you would see that you don't want to call somebody to say that I have made an accident somewhere. There will be some interface where you would say that I would like to open a claim, and then the program is so smart, it asks you that what is your location, right? Then you would say this is my location. Then they would ask what is your claim number, I mean what is your policy number. They would ask what the policy number is, and then they would say that like what is your car number or something like that. So this happens, like this robotic process automation, we saw it happen sometime when there are certain things that you don't want somebody to sit down on the weekend, or or things like you want to automate those areas where you do somebody can do those work, right? Then like I say, the Excel, right? There are some macros and scripts which can be done, which is also part of AI. Like I said, that there is an Excel, and you open up the Excel, you don't want to sit down and do something on the Excel, but instead you write a macro or something which would read the Excel and give you the data set like however you want it, right? There is also business process automation, like we said, mainly in IT industry. It happens a lot, right? Like say for claim processing, if there is a claim happen, farmer said there was a storm came up and in an area, and they say that, because of the storm, my farm had was impacted, right? Then we have something called a drone, right? So the drone can go in areas where it can capture the picture of those areas, that from there they would estimate that how much the claim could happen, right? So those are happens like for business, like whatever you need for the business to run, which is in this case claim processing. You would collect some things from those business. So that's what, like for the claim processing, it happens a lot that you don't want our user to wait and do. So we would like we use drone, or even for underwriting purposes, like underwriting is something in insurance industry. If you want to take, like your mom has a car, right? and she would like to take insurance for that car, right? So now we need to see for the person who is trying to take the insurance if the person has any claim history or not, right? How is the person's driving pattern? So for that, we need to collect some certain data. First data set is that what is the car, the person is driving, right? That is, that car will have a standard premium. Like say, if you're driving a BMW, which is made in 2019, then it will be a standardized thing like that for 2019 BMW, the premium is maybe $600 a month, right? I mean, $600 a year. Now we are going to add certain areas that we call in underwriting, that if you live in New Jersey versus if you live in California, maybe you live somewhere in California, which is downtown, or maybe New York City downtown, and then we think that because you live there, there is a risk of more accident is more, right? Then we would add up that, if you live in, say, in New York and California, San Francisco, $100 extra premium can be applied because that's a more accident prone areas versus if you live somewhere in Midwest. Then there are things like the age of the pattern, right? Like we somehow think that maybe the insurer, like we call insurer, is the person who we're giving the insurance. If the insurer is 17-year-old, right, 17 to 21, because at the age of 17 somebody get the license, maybe 17 to 21, because you are just learning to drive the car, maybe it might happen that that person will be more making more accident or getting more ticket because the person just learning, how to things. And then maybe somebody who is little bit experience, age group of maybe 50 plus, maybe that person would make less accident, so we would add another premium based on the age group. So like this, there are areas like, and then that's why we call underwriting, that we have and we call these all the risk factors, right? And the risk factor can be where you live, what's the age group of the people, and then there will be addition. There are areas where we try to collect, which our company does varies. Like we have a claim history database, like over there that we have mostly the claims happened, the company who give us data, and we would do a call to see that if these persons with the driving license had made an accident or not, right? So those are something we use for data processing, also part of these business process automations. So yeah, these are what we use, like, and then there are different kind of AI, like we call descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, perspective, and cognitive. And like you say, descriptives are something like when we're trying to collect the data, like, uh, you say, tell me that, my car had made an accident. I would say, which car was it? Like, which model of the car, which year of the car. Diagnostic is like the cause of the loss, like why, like when you made the accident, what was, like, why did you make the accident? Was it because weather condition was bad? Was it because you were not paying attention to the road? This could be diagnostic, right? And then predictive is like something based on the accident is made, we would predict that what could be the claim amount, right? Like for fixing your car, will it cost $1,000 or is it going to cost $6,000, right? So that's called predictive. Like we are trying to predict how much the cost is going to be. And perspective is that, right or optimal action or decision. So we would think that, based on all this incident, like when the car accident happened, when what was the weather condition, or like, am I going to give you how much money? Like say insurance company give the money, they have to give you money because you are paying them premium, but is it going to increase your next year's premium? Because if the car accident happened because there was a fault of like how maybe we didn't follow the rules, right? Then your premium would go up next time when you try to renew the insurance, right? So that could be perspective. And cognitive is like, like there are other things happen, like, like which is more, this cognitive AI is still like it is little bit tough because it's like human can think certain things like, we can process, but the model cannot always process. So this cognitive modeling happen where you need to train your model. Like, every time you have to give some parameters saying, if this is the parameter, like, if the weather condition was this, then how much would be the risk, right? This person can make this accident again, right? So you give different parameters and different condition to your model, and then you, based on that, it will predict that if it's going to be. And I can give a better example, maybe, I think you all understand the college admission. So it's basically, there are factors, right? So if somebody like has a good GPA and SAT, and last year this person got admitted to certain university, but then this year, maybe, I'm just giving an example, this year maybe something has happened, so will the person still get admitted to the university? Like something like, you give a parameters to the model and you try to make the decision based on the parameter. Those are the cognitive modeling we kill, which is a little bit tough because it's like every time you need to give need parameters to your model and do that, right? So yeah, I mean, these are all different type of modeling, which is little bit also we do a lot of sound modeling because, for insurance industry, for life insurance product, there are certain parameters we try to predict. It's like if the person's smoking or not, right? So how do we find if the person's smoking? Because what happened, most of the time, many people may lie that they may say to get a better insurance premium that I don't smoke, but the person may smoke. So there is something called sound modeling. There are ways, it's still going on, but there are ways that if they capture the sound or different things, it can say like, it said like, the research is still going on with, I don't know much, but it say that if the person smoke, then maybe their voice could be different than the person doesn't smoke. So there are model where you can give a sound, a speech, like, like I'm speaking, right? So those speech, and you can predict if the person smoke or not. Or many time, like you will see that when you go and you collect, like, we'll go to college or even in your school, you collect the speaking, like, a speech, and then you can translate the speech. From the speech, you will see that it can give you the script, right? Like it writes like what is the person speaking, right? So those are some voice modeling you can do based on the data set. So yeah, I mean, these are the all I have. It's a little bit, little bit high technical, but I hope, like, I will try to explain like what are the different use cases. So that's all, Anya, I have today to present, but any more question I would have happy to take.
Yeah, so we can go over the questions that I've mentioned. So this is more focused on the woman towards women in STEM thing. So what inspired you to pursue a career in the IT industry?
Yes, so like I say, I have always I've been very passionate about data sets. Like, I like to see from, like, there is a story, like, you can see from the data, it tells your story, right? So I was always interested to collect data, and from the data set do a more analysis, right? Like it's more like analytical mind. So if you're curious to know certain stuff, or you want to do some research, how this things is happening, that things is happening, that's what I was always interested. That's the reason I went to IT field and went to the data areas, because I always like to research from the data set how things are going to go, right? So that is the interesting. So
That's great. Can you share a challenging situation you faced in your career and how you overcame it?
Definitely, and I'm going to tell you, I know things has changed. I graduated at about 25 years back from my institute, like IIT Kharagpur. So IIT, when I studied there, in my batch, there was only 3 girls I think out of 200 girls. So you can see the ratio of women was like even 0.05%, right? So there was a lot of stereotyping, and our friends used to, I mean, they were also young like us, but they would say, why you guys want to do this? You should be doing something different like that, right? So that stereotyping was there when I was growing up, because not many girls was studying engineering. But I would be like, smiling and saying, no, this is what I want to do. So this is something, it's not, I mean, I know things has changed, but I would like to tell you that, sometime you might see that if you want to do something very different, a lot of people might ask you that, why do you want to do it? Usually women don't do that, but don't worry, you can do anything you want to be. Like you can be anybody you want to be, you can do anything you want to do. So that's stereotyping is I have challenged, but I'm happy that in current scenarios, even my daughter, she wants to be a doctor, and she does a lot of data research, for the health data set in Emory in Atlanta. But she doesn't face those things. So that things has changed now. But yeah, there was areas where I was questioned that why you want to do this, maybe you should be doing this, but I was very strong, no, this is what I want to do. So that's something.
That's great. So since you're in the IT industry, what skills and qualities do you think are crucial for success?
So the crucial for success is that always think about, like, don't leave things loose, right? If you are looking or analyzing something, um, you have to question, like think about, like, I mean, when you do something, a programming, you can always think about, what if this happened, what is that happened. So that analytical mind of yours, just grow it up, and then you can see that from when you start doing something, you might, from your research or from your programming, it may give you different results, right? But just keep on doing it, and, like, don't worry about anything else, just focus on that, and always have your analytical mind, feed your analytical mind. That's what I would say.
That's amazing. So how do you manage a work-life balance, especially in a demanding field like IT?
Yeah, actually now I'm happy that both my kids are in college now, but I would say that when I was at top of my career and my kids were small, younger, so that time it was challenging to manage the home and also the work pressure. But you have to probably learn how to do multitasking. But again, like, don't focus on too many things at the same time, because that may lead to frustration. But if there is something, like at my time, when there was something in my kids school, it was important, I would always plan things early, and I would, like, just time management is the key. Like, we have to be able to manage time, but I'm sure you guys do that even in your school. Like, you have homework, you plan that I'm going to finish my homework, this today, maybe from 5 to 7 I would do my homework, for 7 to 8 I'm going to do my piano practice, or whatever you do for your extracurriculum activities. But those everyday, I would say everyday, like, it's more about, like, your managing time, and your be sincere, right? I mean, sincere means that, if I leave something, no, I am going to leave the laundry tomorrow, and then maybe tomorrow I won't have enough clothes for the kids to wear, right? So that time management and doing things like right thing and right time is kind of important. So that's something I have noticed in my career, which happened. So
Yeah, that's some valuable information. So, were there any mentors or role models that guided you along your career path or inspired you?
yeah, that is another thing I want to tell you, that I actually did a lot of mentorship when I was working for Morgan Stanley at my earlier career. I used to be a part of New York. In New York, there are an area where the admission rate of the students are very low. Like, they did not, like, most of the student wasn't motivated after going the 12th. They didn't want it to go to college, right? So Morgan Stanley had a collaboration with some schools where the acceptance rate or the admission rate of the student was lower in the colleges because many kids, they didn't want it to go. So at that time, I had some mentor who used to do those work. They used to go and meet young folks, and they used to tell them about the industry, that why is it important to go to college. I used to do that, and I know it sounds a little awkward, but I have done a lot of mentorship in my career, but I have also learned a lot of things. Like there was another area called, American Corporate Partner, where the veterans who had served into the military industry, they were trying to transition to civilian career. So there are American Corporate Partners. They help military who has done military work, and then when they try to transition to civilian work, it's little different, like how they work in military, or how when they just transition to civilian workforce for working into the corporate. So I used to we used to feed each other. He or she would tell me how their experience were, what they faced in military, and I would say that what the life is going to be when you go to corporate America, what is going to be. So, and I used to prepare them for interviews for corporate America, for somebody who has worked in cybersecurity in military, but cybersecurity in a bank or in a insurance industry is little different, right? So I would say that usually this is what happen, when you work for a financial industry. So many cases that by doing this mentorship, I learned things from my mentee. So that is something you guys can start early, very early career. Like say if you're in 12th grade, you can speak to somebody who is in 10th grade and who is trying to, maybe study for English, or somebody need help. Like you guys have this homeworking or mentoring your younger grade, right? So that's, even my daughter, she does a lot of these things for her college in Emory as well. But that's something even you guys can start very early, because you will learn that when you have a mentor or even a mentee, you actually learn things. So I have done in earlier career, I have been part of this mentorship, corporate mentorship, where I have good mentors who used to face problems, and I would talk to them, and they would say me that what happened in what worked in their career, what didn't work in their career. And I also do the same thing with my mentees. So that's something happened. Yeah.
That's amazing. So can you talk about any project or achievement that you are particularly proud of in your career?
Yeah, definitely. So currently in Verisk, we are working something called data platform. And that is for the thing that I have to tell you a little bit what Verisk does. So like I said, we are a data collection company, like all the insurance, the commercial building, you see all these tall buildings, in California, in New York. If something happened to the building, like say, if there is a fire in the building, right? And then the building has a loss, right? So usually they need to take a protection from insurance company, saying that in the building, if there was a fire, and because of the fire, the building had losses, like if it's bonds or the content of the building gets into fire, who is going to settle that, right? Like the company will have, like company A, they will have some losses. So they insure, saying that, this building, I want $1 million coverages, so that if this building has a fire, I would be able to, I will have some business interruption, right? During the fire, they may not work, and they need to pay their employees, or they might have some problem. They need to find another location, right? So that's why they take insurance company, take coverages from another, from the insurance company. Now, what Verisk does, the insurance company send us those data, right? That, this in this area, like in California, New York, this many companies has taken privileges, this many company hasn't taken privileges. So we actually regulate those data. We see that, okay, if this building has taken the insurance, if the fire code of the building is correct, like if the building has a proper is it built of brick? Is it built of wood? Is it built of things? From that, you can figure out that what is the what would be the chances of the building might be into fire, right? So Verisk collect all this data and then they regulate that if the premium, like say for a fire building, if $1 million coverage, you have collected premium $500, but for a wood building or for a brick building, you have collected this much amount. So from different classification, we can map that if this is the right premium amount the insurance companies is collecting or not, right? So we have all this data comes up from many companies in United States. So we have created a data platform where can smoothly the data can come from this company and we can do all this classification and regulation properly. So that's we call data platform. So that is something I'm very excited about because there's a lot of AI, like what somebody would sit and do, those things be automated. So that's something I've been working and also when I was in PricewaterhouseCoopers, I used to work with Ohio State University, some students who used to do some research on the Columbus area from the data collection. So that's another project I was doing with them. So that's some of the my top projects in my life. So
That's amazing. So what advice would you give to your younger self when you were starting out in this industry?
Yeah, so this is something very, very good because, I was not very confident when I was younger. Like, I always thought I'm not as smart enough, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. So I would be very, like, little bit, I would say that I had doubt on myself. So I want to give this advice to you all that don't ever doubt your capability. You can do anything you want to do. There are so many things available. So don't doubt your capability or something you can do. So that's I would think somebody tell me that when I was younger that like be confident on yourself. So that's something I wanted to tell you guys. So
That's amazing. So have you encountered any gender-related challenges in your career? And if so, how did you address them?
Yeah, I did face those issues. But what I have discovered is that most of the time when you see these gender bias things happen, or somebody like if your manager is a male or somebody from different, the person is not talking to you well or not ignoring you, it's not the problem with me, it's sometimes the problem with the other person because that person hasn't worked with somebody like you or me, so that person doesn't know how to deal with this kind of thing. So most of the time you will see that if somebody is ignoring you or like treating you differently, it's not about you, it's about the other person because that person hasn't come to interaction with this kind of people, so they don't know how to deal with it. So most of the time, like it's better to sit down and ask the person that I have been noticing this, is there something I can do to help you, right? So most of the time it's like it's a problem on the other person, not on you. So a very generous conversation is good, that this is what I'm seeing, that is there something I've done, or what is it, like can I help you to improve our collaboration, like that. And people are very accepting that way, like sometimes they just don't know how to deal with the situation. So when you speak, then the person know that okay, that person is also in my team trying to help me out, so this collaboration happens better that way.
That's great. And one final question from me. Can you share any like networking or professional development tips, like getting an internship, getting a mentor for younger girls that have helped you advance in your career or in generally like pursuing your interests?
Yeah, definitely. There are many I will share with you, Anya. Maybe I will also post here. But one I would definitely recommend is called the Grace Hopper Anita Brock organization. They have a lot of things for women and they want to code. And there are, there are also some university programs. Most of the university has their program. Also many things, I know that my husband worked for New York Life Insurance. New York Life Insurance has something for college student as well, senior or junior, but they do they do some coding, and there are many open sourcing, like it's called Open Source Day. Many company, even JP Morgan and I think Verisk also do one open source day. In open source days, I think somebody can come and then they actually make a good form a group, so you can register and they will add you in a group, and they will give you a use case where you can do the open source coding. And open source is the tools which is available without a registration, like you can just download those tools and start using them. That's called open source day, where this you use this open source tool and then try to do programming. So there are something I would share with you, and in later you can share with this group as well.
Okay, that's great. So that's all from me. So now I'm going to open up the Q&A session. So if anybody has any questions, I can see that there's some in the chat. We can start addressing them. So someone said, what are some ways a girl in middle school could learn programming?
Yeah, I would say the best programming, like if you just want to learn programming, is Python. You can just download Python coding and you can start with Hello World. Like you would see that there are, earlier when we were I actually started to see programming. So the programming is something like whatever you want to do, like you would create a executable like using Python or Unix programming. You can just download the tool and you try to you create a programming, you create a function or something, and it will return you whatever you want to do. Like you just say print hello world, or you can give the programming that is 2 + 2, give me the results, which will be 4, like write that. So but start with Python programming, and you can you even middle school you can do that actually.
That's great. Someone also asked, what kind of data do companies collect from my social media like Instagram, and what do they do with that data?
Yeah, so social media, mostly the company collect are for pattern, like they try to categorize. Like for example, I will give you an example of New York Life Insurance. So New York Life Insurance, they try to sell insurance, like life insurance. So they would try to do a target marketing. There is something called target marketing. So they would see that if this person will be interested in my product or not. So any product company, like say Walmart or something, if you like, if you say in Instagram, you share that, I just got my Barbie doll, or, I like this iPhone, something like that. So when you promote things on your social media, they would try to categorize you. How is your use pattern, right? What product you're interested. So most of the time product company try to see from your Instagram or from other places, if you promote things or if what you share, based on they would try to categorize you what kind of customer you could be. So that's the most of the thing. I mean, there are negative things like, you probably like, I know there are some negative things, but I don't want to talk about negative, but you may went in Greece, right? Like for vacation, then maybe some company like, who the travel agent, they might say, okay, you've been to Greece, maybe you can go to Turkey next, like, those kind of things. So mostly for promotion also, yeah.
That's amazing. So another question I see is, what kind of salaries do women make in data science?
That's a very important question, because I want to tell, I mean, you guys must be knowing that there was some salary problem with, the women mostly, they don't negotiate their salary. That's the way it used to be. I know that things has changed. So there is a pattern. The company think that women are less likely to negotiate their salaries. So there was a problem that they thought that if for a position, for in any position, not only data science, like if a man can ask for salary 100, the women may work on that thing for 99. So there was a inequality on women's and men's for salary. But companies now have most companies has gone above and beyond that inequality of salary. So women in data science can earn the same salary than a main in data science. Data science is a good thing, and it can give you good salary. I think I don't know exactly. I can't tell you the exact starting how it could be, but I think somebody who has completed their 4-year graduation, they can make more than 100K a year, 100,000 a year. But again, like it depends which company you are working, where you're located. But make sure that you do negotiation when you join the companies, and you are making the same salary as the main can be in data science. So.
That's some great advice. So if anybody has any other questions, please feel free to post it in the chat. But other than that, in the chat, I'll send it one more time, but please fill out this short form, this short survey as an attendance. And that is all from me. So I hope you all enjoyed this workshop, and I hope we could address all your questions. And thank you, Ms. Anuradha Chattaraj, for your time and such an informative presentation. We all learned a lot about girls in STEM. And thank you to Olivia and Mission Viejo Library again for helping me host this Zoom. As a reminder, there are a few more sessions in the following weeks, September 16th, 24th, and October 1st, which is a new edition. And there will be speakers from engineering, medical, and space research fields. So please email me in the email and chat, or email the Mission Viejo Library to get the Zoom links and sign up for the other sessions. Thank you, everybody, and I'll hand it off to Olivia.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. We are really excited to see you all. And as Anya said, our next speaker will be next Saturday at 10 a.m. And I put the link in the chat. And thank you both so much for being here today. It was great to hear from you, Anuradha, and we learned so much and loved hearing your advice and your perspectives. And Anya, thank you for putting it all together. And we hope to see you all again next week.
Thank you, everybody.
Best wishes, everybody. Bye.
Bye.